Hey, what's going on, everybody? Straighten up my straighten up my hat a little bit. What's up, Pudgy? What's up, Large? Chris, how's it going? Um, Dylan, Jay Dandy. Yeah, I just cracked open a. I can't focus. My camera's not focusing tonight, but so Insane Wanderer from Columbus. It says I never noticed this, but it says volume 10 on it. Are they? I didn't know that this beer was a series, but then I realized the can's different, so they must be one they change up. But there's no description anywhere on the can of what they're actually doing, so I'm assuming it's an IPA that they mix up a little bit. Looks like my mic might be a little hot. Yeah. Oh, hey guys, everyone jumping in. What's up, Farley, Malk, Patrick, Rick? Yeah. Maps bring the views. Yeah. What's up, JMZ? I was just looking at your cocktail. Um, Woodford Reserve, but you wrote that you put so much syrup in there, it's more like a kid's cocktail. I saw Large was drinking a Dropping Anchor New England IPA, which is a great beer from Madcap. I just got asked to. I need to respond to this. Guy used to work at the tattoo shop a couple doors down to shoot his wedding in June. I only do weddings for friends and acquaintances, but that's one I'll do. But the reception's going to be at Madcap, so right up my alley. Also, see, you got the party size cycling sticker in there. Pudgy's got a Mad Tree Tropical Psychopathy. Yeah, I've had the regular one of that. I've never had the tropical version. And Rusty was out for an 8+ mile run, has 1.5 to go. So he's like getting in some miles while he has the chance. Oh, looks like he's at a winking lizard. Uh, zombie dust, is that what he said? Yeah, zombie dust. I never, man, I never stopped for a beer when I was a runner. I don't, that's, it seems so foreign to me. It's like when we ride bikes, even if we ride fast, I always do. But I really feel like all the bouncing from running would make that slosh around way too much for me. Like, hey, what's up, Charles? How far north are you? Hey, Nathan, how's it going? Oh, Minnesota. Yeah, that's okay. Yeah. Man, how many? There's a. I don't know if it's from the connection from some of the early viewers of the channel, but we know a lot of people, and we know a lot of people up that way on this channel for sure. A lot of people from the really cold states. We're always talking about how cold it feels here, but then we know a bunch of people who are where our weather when we get like stuff below 20, they're below 10. So yeah. Hey, what's up, Michael? Michael is the newest channel member, so thanks for joining, man. I appreciate it. I did not change the break graphic because that hard drive that I use to run this stream is my portable one, and I had actually taken it with me to Florida, and that's the drive I used to transfer all the files while I was there. I actually had to upload them. Had 98 gigs of interview and audio and two camera video in Florida, and it took me when I initially started the upload. It said it was going to take I think 50 hours from my Airbnb. Obviously, Wi-Fi. I don't have an Ethernet port on my laptop. It's like an Ultrabook, and there was no Ethernet port there regardless. But yeah, so then we had to go through and actually just upload the important files that they needed right away first. They were doing this interview I shot in Florida. They were doing a bunch of shorter Twitter pieces, direct uploads to Twitter, so under 2 minutes, and then there's going to be like a 45-minute piece on this website. So I don't know anything about Duluth. You guys were chatting about visiting Duluth. Dylan was, yeah. That is a. I mean, I obviously know the name. But yeah, I don't know anything about it. Oh, should we go to the? We should go to the maps. Oh, Malk said we would run 8 miles a couple summers ago, drink 3 beers, and then run back. Metabolism burns right through it. Yeah, Back before I had like a DVR, I remember sometimes there was, well, it was actually, I'd be like in Highland Square in Akron, and I lived about 2 or 3 miles down the road in Wallhaven. And I remember I would always be religiously home for a Bourdain show, no reservations. And if it got close, I would like run home. And in the morning, I remember my feet would hurt so bad from running home in Van's old schools. But I guess that's the most drinking running I've probably ever done. I've never gotten dressed in my running gear and my running shoes and gone out for one. Rusty doesn't run fast enough to slosh. Oh, Dylan said it's probably because Minneapolis is one of the cycling capitals of the country, so just an above average statistic. That would make sense. And then with, well, Minneapolis, yeah, that's all city, right? Also, so with all my friends, almost all my friends except me having an all city, it might search term wise bring people in as well, I guess. Great pants in Duluth, yeah. Oh, Rick, on the 98 gigs thing, I stopped. The interview was really concise. There was almost no, the interviewer was great. There was almost no BS. And I was stopping both cameras about every 10 or 15 minutes uh, just to break up the clips so they'd be easier to find. But yeah, it still didn't matter. And that was only in 1080. I didn't even shoot it in 4K on either camera. The R5 files, well, both cameras files are pretty big, but the R5s are especially big. And then the audio, I use the guy I'm working with here in Akron, who's editing the whole project. He gave me two mics, and the mics just run the whole time because they're just memory card mics. They weren't like wire. They were lavaliers, and then just like a thing in the guy's pocket. So unfortunately, that those just run the whole time, which you know builds audio usually doesn't take up a lot of space. But if you run them for an hour straight, two mics, it's gonna end up taking up some space too. So Hawks. Hey, what's up, Muskrat? Muskrat. Check out Hawks Ridge in Duluth. Yeah, it's no reason not to have a map up here while we're chatting. Oh, there's a Duluth in Georgia as well. I don't know why it would show me that one first. I think the more famous one would be. Oh, so it's where are we? Oh, this is okay. City limits here. So we're at the edge of Lake Superior. All right. I'm as you guys probably have can tell, I'm pretty well like uh what's the word I'm looking for? I know my maps. I keep thinking geometry. That's the wrong word. Geography. I know my geography of the country pretty well, and I actually did not even know where Duluth was. Oh, so then right into is that the Duluth River? What do we got? St. Louis River. Okay. 'Dwight's Point and Wetland State Recreation Area, State Natural Area. What was the one that Muskrat just said? Hawks Ridge. So where are we? Okay, up the coast a little bit. So these mountain bike trails or hiking trails? 115 18-acre park known for migrating birds. This is a huge port. Oh yeah, it looks like it is a huge port, huh? Oh, it makes sense at the end of the Great Lakes, right, like that, right? All right, wait, let me get back into the chat here. Dylan said Duluth is turning into a mountain bike destination. It's got miles of trails through the city and a ski resort with trails in the summer. I need to. Google usually has me on the bike maps automatically. I don't know why it's not lighting up the, it puts the green where the good riding is. Huh. Wow, really surrounded by parkland, huh? Oh, and not even that crazy far from Minneapolis, really. Let's see what else is going on. Oh, Charles said not much else to do in the winter besides Minnesota winter besides watch YouTube. What's up, Savage Squad? Said you live in Indiana and make videos ghost hunting abandoned scary places. We ride a lot of those places. It's what, like me and my friends call like the industrial gravel. And, obviously being in the Rust Belt, there's all kinds of abandoned places. I have a couple Ohio history books on like, haunted and interesting places as well. Um, yeah, tons of abandoned buildings in Akron, as anyone who's been up here and ridden with us knows for sure. Hey, what's up, Lanky? Under funny bread sock. Is that a reference to a scary place? Rick, you were talking about the codecs on the Canon C100. They say the new version of my camera that is the R5, they just put out a cinema version of that, and it's supposed to have much better codecs as well that are way easier to edit, from what everyone says. But that's a good suggestion. Malk, Shawshank Prison, yeah, the Mansfield Reformatory, like he comes in out. Moon Tower is scary at night. Yeah, I'm trying to think if I've ever been to the Moon Tower at night. I guess so. Well, we go to the Roundhouse. We've actually had bonfires at the Roundhouse right past the Moon Tower. So, I'll throw a topographic overlay, huh, JMZ? Yeah. There used to be a rollerblade marathon in Duluth. Well, that knocks it down a couple points. Just kidding. I don't, Rick. I don't. Well, I get it, but yeah. So Charles said at one time Duluth was one of the largest grain ports in the world. Yeah, Cleveland, a ton of abandoned cool buildings. The old observatory, endless in Cleveland because it's so much bigger and so much, um, a lot of areas that are Detroit-like vibe. But let's look at a satellite. Oh, look at a satellite view here. Let's see if we add cycling to the search if it shows us where the mountain bike trails are. Oh, here we go. Couple spots. Spirit Mountain mountain bike trails, Piedmont trails. I saw another one up here. Hartley mountain bike trails. Oh, they're probably closed because of snow, right? Mountain bike trails down here as well. Oh, Savage Squad, you're in Indianapolis, so not that far. Indianapolis is kind of on my list because I've only been through there. I've never spent any time, and it's not that far. So, oh yeah, Large had a couple good suggestions. The town of Boston has always been supposedly haunted. Boston, here by us in the Cuyahoga Valley National Park, there's supposed to be a church. Well, there's a church with an upside down cross, and then people used to go in the graveyard. The main thing is once the park came in, Boston just kind of got landlocked, and a lot of that stuff just kind of comes from I think kids going down there. But has a crybaby bridge like so many towns do. But the Rubber Bowl is definitely a cool abandoned place. I meant to drop this link in the Discord, and I'll do it after this, but the Beacon Journal just wrote in our local newspaper an article. They linked to footage of a huge Boy Scouts, I think it was called the Scoutorama, that took place at the Rubber Bowl in 1953. So for those of you who are from Akron, or those of you who came up and rode with us in the spring, it's kind of cool to see what it looked like back in the day and all these people and this whole festival going on at the Rubber Bowl. Different world. Don't in Cincinnati, don't they? Is that the one where they actually do? Don't they do guided tours down there in the old subway trail sometimes? Here in Akron, a couple before the pandemic started, they did a couple underground walks. I had to work and I didn't get to go to the one. I always say the holy grail in Akron would be, so this is where Akron's where Quaker Oats is from, and we have that. They originally turned some of the silos that didn't get torn down into a hotel. Now they're dorm rooms. But supposedly, from where that building is to downtown, where the warehouse was, there were big vacuum tunnels that they actually, from the silos, moved the oats under into the warehouse section or the processing section. And for all we know, like for everything, there's nothing that has ever said that those tunnels are not there anymore. So I think in Akron, that would be like the ultimate thing to get into. But I think, if anyone would know, I don't think he's in the chat tonight, but Summit Perry does maintenance work. And so since the university now owns what used to be what's left of Quaker Oats buildings, I know he's been in the silos and all that kind of stuff. He's dropped some photos in the Discord and stuff like that of the inside of them. But yeah, it'd be cool. We need to ask him if he knows if there's any way to get into the tunnels underneath Akron. But Dylan, I see you're saying that Amtrak is coming to Columbus. Possibly. It's still, our problem is it still has to pass our extremely conservative legislator. So the federal government is going to cover the cost of construction and maintenance for 6 years, but Ohio still has to agree to it. So there would be a track from Cleveland to Columbus to Cincinnati and hitting some of the small towns, which would be amazing. I would love that to be able to hop on a train and ride to Columbus. They say from Akron to or Cleveland to Cincinnati would take about 5 hours, so about a little more than an hour longer than the drive would be. But at the same time, you're sitting on a train, you get to, yeah, work or do whatever. It would be so awesome. But we'll see. Oh, there's 2 miles of tunnel underneath Indianapolis. That's sweet. We've we've also gone into some of the canal, especially large. He's explored more than anyone around here, but there's a some canal era tunnels under Akron that are like old stone ones that we've gotten into and ridden our bikes in a little bit. Um, I'm trying, Savage. I have a friend who uh, Large knows a couple people too, but I have a friend who makes YouTube videos exploring abandoned places around here. When his name pops in my head, I'll uh, I'll I'll drop a link to his YouTube channel in the chat. Uh, because I already think of his name. He's a fellow photographer here in Cuyahoga Falls, but I can't think of what his YouTube name is off the top of my head. Oh, Pudgy said there's a lottery to go into the subways, but it's a long wait. Yeah, like Jay Dandy said, don't hold your breath on the Amtrak. I did read an article that was saying like why it's got a better chance this time around because we already had a chance to have Amtrak come through um, under whatever to get out of the Great Recession when they had that huge package, but Ohio lawmakers shot it down. As I said, we have a horrible government in Ohio, like absolutely horrible. We might as well be the Deep South, even though we're about a 50-50 state. The gerrymandering has swung this our government so conservative here, state government. But the article was interesting because I guess there's a number of small towns that have realized how much they would benefit from this, that have kind of had hard times. So some of the state house people from these smaller towns are Republicans are have been showing that they might support it this time around. We'll see. But hey, what's up, Jason? How's it going? Oh, Jason said the Pittsburgh abandoned turnpike and tunnel. Rick was just out there. Rick was just out there, right? I haven't. So Jason asked, been to Moonville down by Athens. There's a cool tunnel and a bike trail. I've definitely ridden the bike trail. So me and Erin, right when she got into cycling, did Nelsonville, the rail trail to Athens and back. She was actually when we did one of the live streams. We were pulling up some photos and talking about that. But Moonville doesn't ring a bell though, so I don't know if that's the same trail. Rick. Yeah, who knows when we'll be able to ride outside again here in Ohio? Because if you're not from around here, or tomorrow it's going to rain all day and then it's going to shift over to snow and ice at some point. So I think we're going to be, yeah, nobody's like a bunch of places that I know are already canceling work for Thursday. That's how much of a direct hit it seems we're going to get. But it's already been tough, as we talked about in the stream a bunch of times, to ride around here because the trails are still pretty covered. But wait, I'm not a. Aren't I supposed to be a vampire? Isn't that what you guys said? Are you guys trying to get up to Ray's, the indoor park? I've still never done that. I don't know. Check your map. What? There was another map thing we were talking about that I wanted to pull up. Um, Now I've lost my. Oh yeah, I was gonna try and find that YouTube channel of my friend who does the abandoned places. See if I could. See if I can look through the subscriptions and it'll pop up. It's been a little while though. Might as well look while we're chatting though. He's one of the best photographers, like for that kind of stuff. It's amazing. When he's doing the videos, he wasn't dropping the photos he was taking in there, and I kept telling him, "You got to do that. Like the photos are so cool. When you walk up and but it's still kind of cool to see where he's going. He's just filming with the GoPro, but I feel like he should have synced up some of the photos he took in those spaces. But everybody is a critic. I should probably unsubscribe from all these dead accounts where no one ever posts on. So when I do want to find something, I'm not searching through stuff from 10 years ago that doesn't even really exist anymore. Oh, yeah. Searching through this list, I see Let's Make Internets. That's when Pathless Pedaled had a second channel for a while. That I think has probably been over a year since anyone has posted to. Ah, there's too much stuff here. I'm not going to find it. Oh, well. I need to get Tim a Coffinus jersey. Well, the problem even with the ice storm, I think we're supposed to get like a foot or a foot and a half. They keep changing it of snow after the ice. So Moonville Tunnel is an abandoned train tunnel that is a spur off the Athens Trail. Gotcha. Hey, what's up, William LeBron? Me and Aaron did some riding in Dayton a few years ago, and we really had a good time. It was a holiday weekend, so not a ton was open. It was kind of chill, but we rode a couple of the bike paths around Dayton. Oh, we should look at some bike pics before we get back into the mapping of everything. I'll go backwards because since I didn't stream last Thursday and we chatted a lot in this group, it'll be hard to find everything. But yeah, I wonder what you guys will get, Pudgy, because it's gonna it depends on where that like where and when things start freezing tomorrow. How bad this is gonna be? It's gonna rain all day and then start freezing and getting horrible at some point. But I didn't know Dayton had an indoor park as well. A bunch of the Joy Machines guys were just posting photos from up at Ray's as well. Yeah, let's look at some of these bike pictures. So, Party Size just posted, oh, he's working on his Specialized. Said wrenching and watching. Oh, yeah, that's starting to look good. Oh, wow, look at that cassette on the back you got going on. Nice. Got the sticker on before you even finished with the build. And then I was interested in this bike, Pudgy. I was trying to figure it out. So he traded a couple bike racks for this Chinelli. And it's such a mixed bag because, like you said, horizontal dropouts, but derailleur hanger. And then those kind of brakes. What? Why is my brain failing me? But like mountain bike brakes, where they can, And I mean, I guess it could have been drops or flats. Are they considering this? Was this like a cross kind of bike? But yeah, you could go so many ways with this build. That was definitely a solid trade there. Wow, look at that car. Yeah. So your salsa, you said, with the local Slayer rat ride? Oh, that's great. Hey, what's up, Nick? Nick, if you were asking me if I like the rental bike in Florida, do I have a photo of it? I didn't upload them yet. Ran out of time today. But oh, I might have it on Instagram. Oh, I got at least one. It's a silhouette, but still better than nothing. Yeah, so I rented this Giant Revolt. Everything they had at this bike shop in Florida was like mountain bikes. Mountain bikes are hybrids. Um, so this was the gravel bike they had, and I figured good enough for a rental, better than uh, probably better than you would expect. I actually hated this bike. I not that it rode that bad. Like it was fine. It was better than most you would expect to get a rental bike, or like it wasn't a city bike. I could go out and ride it. I rode like 60 miles the one day, but it's just so dumb. It has no utility at all. Um, so it's funny. I made some Instagram posts about it being a stupid carbon bike, and it's actually an aluminum bike with a carbon fork. I was laying in bed, and Yonda, I was actually messaging with Yonda, and I looked over and I saw the welds at like the exact time he messaged me that it was an aluminum bike. But regardless, the bike like so rode super stiff, except for that like that D-shaped seat post, which is noodly, which is supposed to be its like built-in suspension. The seat post, it's not even a clamp. It's like this integrated thing. Doesn't have a standard size, so since the shop didn't help me, I couldn't change the height. The saddle was absolutely horrible. It was Giant branded. And then you can't see in this photo, but on the handlebars, they had this since it was I guess the high end carbon ones, like with the Ultegra or Durace, are all hydro. This had this crazy thing on the handlebars that converted the cable pull Sora levers into hydraulics. So you had this massive chunk on the handlebars, and then the hydraulic hoses and the way the cable was routed from for the brakes and the shifters kind of like made the bars massive, and then you had the hoses coming down from this thing, so you couldn't run a handlebar bag. So I couldn't put my zeitgeist or my catalyst bag on the handlebars, and with the saddle without rails, I had to like get my valet straps to go around those sideways. It was just all around like a stupid bike. And then they have these horrible pedals on there. And I mean, I get it that I did say I was fine with flat pedals, but they didn't even put modern pedals. They put like, uh, it essentially had like a pair of these on there. Like, it's, just, I mean, who wants to ride just pedals like these without cages or anything on a gravel bike? So again, my problems weren't with like my ride wasn't that bad. It was fine. It's just that like I think this is a stupid bike. I can't even understand who it would be for. Like, no, sorry if someone watching has a low end Revolt, but so it's a gravel race bike because it has no utility, but it's a cheap one, so it doesn't even have good components. It doesn't have a nice ride. I just don't really get it. And then they had like 38s on it, which were fine for everything I ended up riding, and in Tallahassee were fine. But it has clearance for much wider than that, so I don't understand why you'd run narrow tires on a bike with clearance. The whole thing is just I don't know. It just seems like a whole pain in the ass to work on. Uh, yeah, just a weird thing when a corporate bike brand builds a gravel bike. That's what you get. So the setup had me really sore. My calves are still really tight. When I went out on the road today, I still feel tight from riding that thing. But yeah, Oh yeah, you guys were helping me out with the brakes, cantilever brakes. Before I started rambling about this Giant Revolt that I hated, I thought I said good name. It's revolting. It's a revolting bike, but I mean, gravel obviously has so many gravel all road adventure bikes. Like the spectrum is so wide that But I think I don't know. It's Giant just took the lower end road bike concept and made it a gravel bike, and to me that's probably the stupidest place to be sitting with a gravel bike, in my opinion. Like if I don't know, if you were getting a high end Revolt to actually go race true gravel races, then I understand it. A bike get that at this price point and with this kind of build just makes no sense to me. So, oh, sorry, Chris. Probably not buying a bandana now, right? I mean, maybe it works. I People like different things. Maybe it works for you. Yeah, I didn't like it. Hey, what's up, Andrew? Oh, Jason, you asked about the Veterans Trail. Yeah, I met one of the guys behind it a number of years ago. I think he was actually set up at the farmers market. Um, we ride part of that already. That's what we call the Route 8 gravel. You could ride it from Cuyahoga Falls almost into Akron. We rode it on the industrial gravel ride when people came up here. If you go the other way, eventually it becomes all trees and overgrown. Me and Large have tried to ride a couple other parts of it that weren't super rideable, but yeah. Did they receive a grant? Because they were talking about I because the metro parks have shown no interest in putting their funding towards the Veterans Trail so far. There was an article or one of their meetings I was watching on YouTube, and they kind of basically were like, low priority. We have other things we're working on first. But it would be a really cool route. So, oh, Chris, you said the brakes leak. It's been fixed twice under warranty. And then the seat post. Yeah, I I didn't like. I was talking to my friend Carl today, or yesterday. I saw him again today at the bike shop. But yesterday I was actually dropping off some guitar pedals that I had photographed. He works at Earthquaker, and that's what he said. He said he remembered he rode one of the Altegra Giant Revolts when they came out. He said, and he said he couldn't stand the seat post. One, the way it felt, and then also the idea that you're screwed because you can't go aftermarket. You can't get anything that fits. Like where he has that what Canyon is it a Grail? Where they used like a flexi seat post, but it goes into a normal round in a standard size, and then it becomes different at the top. So, like he said, he thought he was going to get rid of that thing and get an aftermarket like Thompson or something. I think he said Thompson, like instantly, but then he ended up liking it. You're just so locked in with that one, which is, I don't know. I'm pointing at it. I still have it on screen when I said that one, but yeah. Chris said yours is a tough road, but kind of the same setup. Bought it before you knew anything. Yeah, yeah, same with me. Like if I was buying a bike when I got back into cycling, who knows what I would have bought? So I'm almost glad I didn't. But even my truck, my winter bike now, my mountain bike, like I wouldn't buy a truck mountain bike now. But when I was buying it, I just needed a bike. I walked into the local bike shop, and that's what they like put me on. So I totally understand. And I would make anything I'd bought in the past work too. So, like I said, it's not. I just think there's dumb things about that bike. But it's still. I mean, if I had set it up the way I wanted, if I had put my Brook saddle on, I had DDO pedals on it, I still would have, you know, it would, I was still riding fast and having fun. I went off road. I rode mountain bike trails on it. So yeah, and I'm not backtracking. I mean, I still think it's like, I'm sure you did the same thing I did. You walked into a shop, it hit your price point, it seemed to make sense. But wait, what are you guys talking about, Classy? Nathan, you're right. Yeah, just flick me off and yeah. And again, every we talk about this with saddles and everything else too. One, I think you could make any bike frame work for you depending on how you build the bike out. But like everything is so personal, like to what you like. Again, now if I was going out to buy a bike now, it'd be a brand new bike and spend money. I would be buying something totally different than even 3 years ago with what I knew. If I didn't do this show, I wouldn't know half the stuff I know and wouldn't even have probably 1/10 of these opinions. So Dylan said a Brooks saddle on a Giant Revolt would be a sin. Yeah. Well, I guess that's what I was kind of saying. So Pudgy, you just said Giant Revolt with a Brooks in a basket. That's the problem. There's no like mounting points or anything like that. So they really, in my opinion, Giant really did like brought the road bike mentality over to gravel bikes, which I don't think is the way to go. I don't. Instead of making a down model version of the Revolt, I think they should have made more of a bike that could be also have some utility to it at that like price point and that kind of frame material and that kind of group set, right? That's again just my opinion, but yeah. So just get a bear claw. Yeah. One of the things too is I and I think I've talked about it. I have Otis's Gunner over here, which is really cool. Steel bike, American made frame, and I think that would be. I've only got to ride it. I only have like 6 miles on it because it's an off-road bike. He's got 55s on it, but right when I took it from the bike shop and Otis went on vacation to ride it, we've had all this snow, so I can't get off-road anywhere on it. So that's a bike that I really want to make a video about. I shot some footage, but it's what's the point of road footage on a steel framed adventure gravel all road bike with 55s on it? So I really want to try that out. But the point being that if I was kind of looking for a new bike and I was going to drop some money eventually, I don't have it now. I just paid property taxes today, and now I got to pay federal taxes coming up. And as a small business owner, that's all coming out of my pocket. No one holds that back all year. So, and my mortgage is just with a person, so none of that comes out monthly. So it's an expensive time of year for me. But say like summer went good and I wanted a new bike, I would look into a brand like Gunner because I do like the idea of an American made frame. That's just kind of cool. Same with, wild bikes. I really think those are cool as we've talked, but it would just depend on what I decide to do. But I do think it's really interesting that like I didn't really know much about Gunner, and that's what I think I'll do in the video is do some history. Is that how it's Waterford, and I didn't realize it was the just like a brand that Waterford started to have like some TIG welded frames and also some unique designs, so it wouldn't take away from the classic Waterford lugged, um, super high end, more road bike oriented frames. But Rick, I called you a fat honey eater. I draw out the carbon fork and add a couple bolts. Large Marge could hook me up with a surly. When I stopped I went out for I think I did like 14 miles tonight. Again, I'm talking to Lanky about this on Instagram. It's just kind of frustrating how limiting riding is right now with the weather we've had. But stopped in the bike shop, and Large was building, I think, a midnight special when I stopped in there, which I don't know. I really like those. Jason asked what the perfect bike would be. That's what's so hard to decide. I really like Wild because um, I just think those are super cool looking bikes, but I'm not sure if they would be a little too aggressive for me or if I would like it. Yeah, I don't know. I think I would still go steel. I don't think I would try and go titanium. Partially cost, partially I know I already just love the way steel bikes ride. Riding the aluminum Revolt again, like I thought it was carbon. That's what I was saying. Because it had that total carbon feel, the way it's painted, the shape of the tubes. Um, but it felt like a carbon bike. I just don't like them. I only have I guess two aluminum bikes. Yeah, I have a road bike right here on the trainer, and this bike was super harsh. I know they make aluminum that's not quite as harsh anymore. And then my mountain bike, which is my winter bike, but that one doesn't matter because with over 2 inch tires and studded tires, it just that one actually doesn't feel that. It doesn't have the same harsh feel of carbon does. So I don't know. And I don't like the feel, just even like when you like tap carbon, just the plasticky. Yeah. So I'd still go steel. I think I'd want more clearance than my gravel bike now has because I'm kind of limited to 42s. So the idea if I could have some slightly wider tires that I could still, if I wanted to, put fenders on, maybe just for the, you know, spring and fall. But yeah, I'm not sure though. I don't know if like someone just handed me $4 or $5,000 right now and I could just go get any bike. I wouldn't be 100% sure what I would get. I mean, it would definitely be all road gravel oriented bike, but I would really have to think about it. I mean, I know what I would go Shimano, I would go 2 by, saying funds were unlimited, or not unlimited, but reasonable. I, I would still go Shimano 2 by, uh, probably 105. Brook saddle, B17. That's the only saddle I want to ride. But a few more super shats and I could afford one. Oh, Dylan, Westerville Bike Shop is a Gunner dealer. I didn't even know. I didn't know Waterford did any dealer shops. I thought they were just. I thought everything was fairly direct because everything's. They do some standard builds, but you can customize anything from Gunner or Waterford. So yeah. So Nathan, you asked would I get a custom fit Gunner? That would be the difference because once you start to custom fit them, the price goes obviously considerably higher, and then you're starting to get into like Waterford territory. So I don't know if I was going to go custom fit. I don't think I really have enough of a feel for bikes to need to go custom fit pricing. So in that case, that's when I might like look at some of the other custom builders, or not custom builders, like smaller US builders who have like a standard frame, and just go that route to be able to get a US made bike but not pay custom prices. But you can't access super chats from the iPad? Interesting. I wonder why. Rivendell Romulus, perfect bike next. I I like Rivendell's. I don't know if I would go Rivendell. Um, but that, I would if I was interested. I'd explore the lineup more. Me and Otis talked about getting me one a while back, before I got the Raleigh, because for the work I did, he was talking about like kind of like a half sponsorship type deal. And we started to look at. I think we were looking at the Rodini, but I think that was too limiting on the obviously the tire clearance at the time. And this is still again when I was still coming more from my vintage road bikes, whereas now I'd want more clearance. But Pudgy said perfect bike impossible. Yeah, Malk said he would get an ogre and a karate monkey, which he already did. Hand me 4,000, 5,000, and go get any bike you live in the 80s. Well, I don't mean like, yeah, well, yeah. I guess I haven't priced out everything, but Farley said can't find a new bike now anyway. Well, you can. You just gotta do the work. Rick said he's looking at the Tanglefoot Moonshiner. I also like a couple of the. Do you guys ever look at Bomb Track at all? I think Bomb Track makes some cool bikes too. But I really like a classic triangle though. I really want like I really like a classic triangle bike. I don't like slope top tubes or anything like that. Plus for the and I think that's really nice utility too. Like I talk about when I bike pack, I could put my tent posts in a frame bag with the bikes I ride because I have 5860. You know, I think this well this channel in my friends group in general skews far more SRAM than Shimano. I'm one of the few. I'm rarer as being a Shimano fan. I just yeah, and I could get used to SRAM. Like I've said, if I was buying a used bike and it had a SRAM group set that was going to work for me, I went and the price was right and the deal was just a really good deal. I would not do it because it was SRAM. I'm just saying if I'm buying a new bike and building it up the way I want, I'm going Shimano. But oh, Dylan, you're the bike you're building. Or Rick, you were talking to Dylan talking to Rick. I'm building a tumbleweed stargazer. Is that the bike you were showing in your where was that? A fix this bike? Yeah. So this is what you're starting to work on, Dylan, is a stargazer. Oh, you got the right tires. Is that some of the camp and go slow bar tape? You got the Chris King stuff going too. Clampers. Oh, you're building it tomorrow. Uh, you get the frame tomorrow. Dylan does. Oh, Nathan, you were saying you do like campy. Yep, that's my next project. So I keep. We started it on the stream last winter, and I never finished it because it's low priority because it's a kind of a. I said not show bike, but just a bike I want to build up. I have a vintage carbon, vintagey carbon lugged look, and I have a campy group set on it. And yeah, just from like I love the fact that you can dump gears in both directions on campy group sets. It's really cool. But I haven't actually ridden it yet. But I don't think I would ever count Campy out as a group set that I would really like. But like budget wise, I would always probably just go with Shimano. But yeah, Pudgy's the other one. He's a Shimano guy as well. I forgot. Well, I didn't forget, but I think we're the only two on the channel regularly that are more Shimano oriented. Hey, what's up, Chris? Oh, that was your headset, Pudgy, huh? Oh, that's what you're doing, Dylan. So that's Camp and Ghost little bar tape that you pulled off something. Gotcha. Nathan, you said you have Athena. Yeah. Well, Campy doesn't make any like even like Campy's budget stuff. Like I don't think anything Campy makes goes below what like the 105 quality would be. What is? What is the groups that I had? Oh, yeah. So mine's middle of the road as well for campy, which is still decent, obviously. But friend Stu gave this to me, and we were going to trade for some photos. And I've asked him every time I see him if he ever wants to do some photo stuff. He's a musician, and we haven't yet. So, did you guys notice that I redid everything in the back? So now I got my tools all. This camera angle is not great for it. My autofocus isn't working tonight, anyways. But so when we work on bikes, I've got all the tools now, all my bike tools hanging up here. I reorganized everything too, and it's more. Well, let's see. Yeah, everything's backwards. So all the stuff is this way. So now when we do live streams and I'm working on a bike, it won't be all this searching around for everything. So I organized all my little drawers and like parts things. So I know what I've got, like all the pedals, the saddles. So yeah, well, maybe on, well, I'd like to do a guest again on Thursday, but yeah, maybe next Tuesday, I think we'll get back to working on the Peugeot. And yeah, you'll see that I've got the whole thing set up much better over here now. So I finally just took an afternoon and got everything organized. So now you don't want a black front wheel on that Chanelli. You want something chromed out. Oh, someone was talking about Rick's fenders, and he had posted this winter photo of his bike, the ECR, a little while ago. So yeah, when we were talking about those, you could see what those are. Those are pretty cool. Nathan, good. The rim is replaceable. That's the point of that wheel set. It needs to stay together. Everything's nice about it. Putting velocity quills. I did one thing I hadn't thought about before too, and this kind of relates to you, Pudgy, and making me think that I could possibly. There's actually a. They're nothing super nice, but there's a decent wheel set on the bike on the trainer, and I'm not going to take the rear wheel off because the way because the cassette on there are just it's my only I think modern 700C wheel set. But I did finally realize I'm like, oh yeah, I could put any garbage wheel on the front of the bike that's on the trainer, and so I don't need this on here. So it has white spokes though, so it'd have to go on the right bike. A low spoke count wheel too. I'm trying to think of what that is. I'll should pull that off and show it on the next stream. But I've talked about this before. I wish I could build wheels, but I haven't even had the patience to figure out how to true wheels. I've messed around with it a little bit, but yeah. I know I annoyed Yonda when I took my Velocity wheels apart before he was rebuilding them. He was putting new rims and spokes on my Velocity hubs because I had totally destroyed them. I think you could even kind of see in the reflections of here how dented up. Oh no, it's on the other side. How dented up they were, but yeah, I just kind of wanted to see how everything went together and came apart. But yeah, I guess that really messes up wheel building when you're just transferring one over. So lesson learned. Oh yeah, before I forget, I did want to run. Uh, pull up some more bike photos too while we're chatting. But oh, we're way back, huh? Oh, Musgrave's picture on the Freedom Trail. Well, he said they had kind of groomed it too. I haven't tried to go out there. I need to. Well, I was gone, obviously, but that way, where yeah, that's just a reflection. It's silver wheel, but yeah, silver rim. Oh yeah, Abe got out for a little snow biking. I was looking at this bike too. Um, is this a I don't know this brand as well. Is this a custom U.S. brand? Rodeo Labs. It looks really sweet. Oh, Large is saying the Freedom Trail is still unrideable from downtown. Gotcha. Wait, I lost my. Oh, Nathan, you haven't had any snow, just cold as hell. Then Rick, you were saying those wood fenders, too expensive, a month late, arrived with a scratch. They wouldn't clear the front until you notched them out. So, and Pudgy was saying that bike, Abe's bike, is a Rodeo Labs trail donkey. Michael said one of the reasons he found the channel was teaching yourself to work on bikes early in the pandemic, and wheel building is daunting. Yeah, I mean, oh, okay. So we've talked about, yeah, wheel building is super daunting, but Aaron, Otis and Yonda did teach Aaron, and she helped with their guidance build the front wheel for, I think it was the front wheel for her crust, which was pretty cool. But so Rodeo is in Colorado. They import the frames, but they're great. And yeah, the Spork is what I was thinking of. We've showed that before. Um, who had one? I know we've talked about it on the live stream. Did someone have a Spork? Did Dylan put a Spork on one of his bikes? I know we've talked about this before, but so now I do know it. I just kind of, and the name sounds familiar, but yeah, this is a Flanimal Pudgy. See, Flanimal 50 or 5. It's either 5.0 or 50. I can't tell if there's a decimal in there. I'm sure Abe would really appreciate this crotch shot. Oh, it's 10:03. Break time. Oh, Dylan does have the spork. Okay, yeah. There was one other thing I was gonna. We will take a quick break, but oh, you're over carbon forks, Dylan. Uh, Rick, you were asking what a spork is. It's the fork on this bike, obviously. With you can see the spork logo there. This carbon fork has mounts, though, right? Oh, it's 5.0, not 50. That sounds more right. Flanimal 50 would be a stupid sounding name, but yeah, I don't. I gotta say, on the rally, I really like the carbon fork, but we've talked about it on the channel, but well, like me and Pudgy, like he held it when he was here. I'd just taken it off. It's the steel fork that was on the Rowley really was a boat anchor. It could have had even a better steel fork on there, but having the chance to get the carbon fork for so cheap, I just couldn't pass it up. I know I was about to say something and I've lost my train of thought and it's driving me crazy. Well, like always, but yeah. Yeah, Bradley, the Revolt I rented in Florida was aluminum with a carbon fork after I made a whole Instagram to do about carbon. It wasn't about the carbon or aluminum really to me. It was about the fact that the bike just didn't have a lot of utility. But Dylan said the mounts on the spork are the strongest you could get on any carbon fork. Malk, you have a carbon fork on your Raleigh Supercourse, huh? Mine made a noticeable improvement on the Raleigh, but in general, I don't have a problem with steel forks on bikes. But yeah, let's do it. Let's take a quick break. And again, like I said, I did not update this. So thanks to Michael and thanks to Malk, who are the two newest channel members whose names I don't have on the break video yet, which I want to completely redo, like I keep saying. But one of those things that is easy to let slip down the list. All right, BRB.
I just want to take a quick moment during this break to thank our channel members. Their financial support really does make it possible to do this many live streams and produce this many videos. So thanks a lot. If you're interested in joining, we could drop a link on the screen in the chat right now that you could check out and follow that link and join the channel and get some special perks too. Anyways, thanks to everybody else too for tuning in. I really enjoyed doing this. Check out the merch store and also drop a like on this video. Thanks, every little bit helps. We will be back in a couple minutes.
I want a tuna boat. Give me tuna boat. I want a tuna boat. Give me tuna boat.
I saw Chris's question about Poggies versus gloves. I, I, I don't know. Both have their benefits. One thing so last year I ran when I had the flat bars on my winter bike, the flat bar Poggies, which I like, Poggies, whatever. Um, the one thing I like about them is that as someone who like shoots a lot of video and stuff from the bike, then if I just have my thin wool gloves on, it's easier to navigate versus when I ride with my lobster gloves and where it's still harder to grab anything out of a pocket or if you need your phone or anything like that. But I kind of like the feel of riding in my lobster gloves better. I just kind of like, I don't know, that freedom of movement. Like, I don't ever really worry about, the idea when you first get Poggies, you're thinking like, if I go to fall, will my hand be stuck in there? That doesn't really turn out to be a real thing, but I still do kind of just like the freedom of just putting on my gloves and taking them off. And I, to be honest, have not found that much of a. I don't feel like. I know some people swear by them. I think I know Large really likes them. Aaron really likes them. A bunch of people. I don't find like they're that much warmer than if I wear my wool with like my nice lobster gloves. I feel like they're about the same. So, but that's another thing that I think is totally personal. Like pogies. I talked about this. I have a set of heated gloves here that got sent to me, and I need to take them out while it's real cold. So we just had such mild weather for so long that when I got them, I kind of forgot. And now that it got really cold, I need to try them out. But yeah. Oh, Dylan asked about the show idea. So yeah, that's what I do want to bring that up before everyone disappears because I wanted to get your input. And there's a lot of people here who watch even, I tend to watch like 4 or 5 YouTube cycling channels. So I'm like, that I'm really happy with and kind of just take up the time I have for the amount of TV I watch, which isn't a crazy amount. So I and the other things I watch, like photography stuff and pro racing stuff, there's like really great, shows that like cover what's happening. So one thing that I was thinking might be a cool show idea for this channel, and that's what I wanted the input is if there's something already out there that exists, then it wouldn't be worth it. But I haven't seen it. Is like a news channel, a news show, weekly news show for the kind of stuff that we're into. So the idea would be like how Crust came out with wheel sets that have the, Dynamo hub in them. Like that would be like a news item. And it would be very quick, like, talk about each thing and like move on. So like a weekly roundup of news and that's what I'm trying to think like adventure cycling, all road, gravel's obviously the word. I don't want to use it though, because I like the idea of trying to steer us all away from that term because it's just not the right term. So I was wondering if you guys know if there's anything out there that's already doing like a roundup. So there's bikepacking.com, which I love, and he does a great job. I can't think of his name right now, but they still lean so much farther towards the bikepacking on almost mountain bikes. I'm sure no one likes that the way I just said that, but if you know what I mean, like the uh, true bike packing, totally off road. They cover a lot of great stuff, like the new Fillmore valves and all that, which I think would be relevant to what I'm talking about doing too. Um, but yeah, I was just thinking of doing like it would be like 10 to 20 minutes depending on the week, and I thought it'd be really good for the channel as well. I think there's a niche there to be filled for, like just the stuff we talk about on this channel, the stuff we've talked about all night, but to do a really concise, really quick, and so, like, where I'm just like kind of and do it old school news style. I want to like sit at the desk. I want to have my papers. And then the other thing I was thinking, one, the Discord already works really well because we're all posting about the new stuff that's going on. I follow a lot of the stuff on Instagram, but I was thinking too, if any of you guys were interested in doing like, so I think at the end of each episode, it'd be cool to have someone else do either like a local report, like you guys film yourself doing something that you find interesting or an opinion piece. And an example of this so making it like a little news program. And the example of this would be like how Swift moved their is moving their production of their bags, which have always been made in the U.S., handmade in the U.S., to the Far East, Indonesia, and using Asian supplies. So it'd be great if someone like Dylan, like what you had written in your comments about them doing that, if someone made like a 2 minute, you film yourself doing like a 2 minute piece, then where we could also have like these kind of cool opinion pieces and make it like this little weekly news magazine. And what I was starting to think is that I would do like how a lot in the summer I only do like one stream a week, um, always putting them up as premieres and doing it at the time of one of these streams. So either Tuesday or Thursday. So there's a live chat when you do a premiere. I haven't done one on this channel forever, but if you've ever gone to a YouTube premiere, it's just like this, but it's a video playing and there's a live chat. And then, so you can now transfer premieres right over to a live stream. It'll just transfer everybody who watches it into a live stream. So then I could always do it on that same night. And then if it's a night where I'm going to live stream, it goes into the live stream. And if it's a night where I'm not going to, we still had the chance to do a live chat, and the live chat in the community still exists on weeks when there's only going to be one live stream. So yeah, Steve, you said like kind of like GCN, exactly. So exactly like the idea is exactly like GCN, but not. And GCN, like my favorite thing on GCN besides racing, I love racing, is their weekly news show, the GCN show, because they cover stuff that's not just roadie stuff. Their regular, their regular, programming, I don't watch that much anymore. I watch their race stuff and I watch the GCN show. But this would be more niche because, you know, GCN covers some cool articles and some cool like, studies, but like who's covering like crust or and then we could also use it to promote our friends too, like, Party Size when he puts out a new product, like a new shirt, we could show Roach Clips when he has a new product, we could show that. And so like people could send in like their ideas for like cool little niche product projects like Jack the Bike Rack, which, killed Kickstarter, and Pathless Pedal had it on there, but like the dates when those are actually shipping, I think would be like something that would be a news story that would be interesting to this crowd. Hey, what's up, JB?
JB Meek subscribed to the channel.
So Dylan was saying it's a good idea, but it'd be like a full-time job. Yeah, I mean, it would have to be, you know, would definitely have to stay on, I couldn't let it consume me. But I think also it is the kind of thing that if it grew, people would be interested in sponsoring. So when I watch like, if you guys know Jared Pohl and Fro Knows Photo, he does the Photo News Fix every week, where I'm sure he's reading the same 5 sites to get the information about what's going on in the modern photography world. But that's stuff that people are also willing to sponsor. So then at the beginning you say, this episode is brought to you by, of course, that would be down the road type stuff. But if it would pay for, 4 hours of research down the road, it could be worth it. Yeah, Malk said do a series playlist on the same channel. That's what I'm thinking. Yeah. Yeah, Rick said F-stoppers. There's a guy who does Nico film photography news show, and it's weekly. And that's, what his channel is taken off from is like focusing on that resurgence of analog. It's a niche topic, but, you know. Yeah, the alternative cycling channel, the PLP shoot off, isn't that all live streams though? Alternative cycling propaganda. Steve said, honestly, it'd be helpful. It's too. I'm trying. Well, I lost my place. I scrolled. Sorry. Honestly, it would be helpful. It's hard to know about all the new stuff coming out. Yeah. I want to do it. I made this. My goal was. I just got totally caught up in this. I was using my subscription to Storyblocks, and I got this great news intro, and I modified it, and I did like the voiceover and like the news music, and I like seriously want to like, you're right, Walter Cronkite it. I want to like, I want to like wear a tie, be sitting here at the, like actually sitting with my papers and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, you guys could be freelancers. I think it'd be awesome. Malk said, Jamel, I hope I said that, or James, Curry does it for ultra running and it's great and huge. Exactly. Wait, I scrolled again way too far. Where am I? Oh, that's so funny, Pudgy. I was thinking of this when I was out riding, and Pudgy said industrial gravel, you know what really grinds my gears segment? I was thinking that exact same thing. I would love to have you have the gears grinding like in the corner and grind my gears segment that someone does. Yeah. Malk said, watch Mountain Outpost channel. It's spot on, but for running. Yeah. And yeah, Large said basically a video Radivist, which, yeah, right. The Radivist isn't doing this. Like the closest I can think for what we do is bikepacking.com. And they do a really good, I love their episodes, but I think they're super niche down in what they do. And I mean, who's covering, Bear Claw, the Crust, even All City, like All City releases the new colorway and that's a news topic. I think each week there's 10 to 15 minutes worth of stuff, right? Alt bike news. I like that, Raymond. Yeah, I was trying to think of the name because I want to keep it snappy. When me and Party Size were chatting, he was using the term adventure cycling, which I like. I think it's still cover. I want to still cover. I like, someone's already using alternatives, so I don't know if I want to alt news, alt cycling. Yeah, I don't want to say gravel because it's broader than that, and I want to include like commuter and utility and cargo, but still that niche of like, Hey, what's up, JB? Oh, Andrew said alternative news cycling. Alternative Cycling Network is dead. They haven't put out a video in months. Well, I think with Russ on the road, right? He's probably not doing any of that stuff. Muskrat has a good question there too. What do we think about gravel trail advocacy for more connectors, like the way mountain bike people got more mountain bike trails? Yeah, so two things on that, Muskrat, before I get back to the show idea, because I want to read the other comments. One is we just kind of ride the ones that are there already. So like the whole industrial gravel thing, I kind of sometimes like that they're not official trails before they become trails. I think you're right. Like the idea that it'd be nice to legally be allowed to ride some of those. But yeah, it's kind of hard to. Yeah, Andrew. So yeah, sorry, Muskrat. But yeah, I see what you're saying, but I'm already kind of doing it anyway, and a lot of us are. So, but yeah, that doesn't do the general population that wants to ride that kind of stuff any good because people aren't going to go down the homeless trails and all that kind of stuff without it being a little more official. So, and then Andrew was saying, I'm sure there's a PR wire for bike industry news. I think I would still have to be doing a lot of like the accounts we follow and information from Discord because a lot of the stuff we're talking about is like they don't, they're not the industry, and that's kind of the stuff I want to cover. It's the stuff that would be, is more social media announced and all that kind of thing. Sponsored. Rick's really giving me shit for my JMC says thinks I've got something here. Yeah, there's an Axel Jones. Yeah, I don't know. When I started thinking about this, I really felt like I just felt like no one's doing that for what we're into, and to do it in a concise way with how popular video and YouTube is now kind of makes sense. So, yeah, Nathan, you're exactly. I want a Norm Macdonald it up. I'm not going bow tie. I'm going regular tie. I wish I had the intro I just messed around with down here so you guys could see it. I think you would like it. Fitzwater bike news. Well, I want to keep it so in the intro I say from like Fitzwater Studios in Akron, Ohio, but I do want to keep it like, the name I want it to be something more broad. Yeah, Roadie's Rick waving at Roadie's segment. Yeah, the weekly did the Roadie wave back at Rick. Why? But I do really think like those kind of little ideas would be really fun as reoccurring things to have. So, there's 5 minutes of just like the biggest stories. Like I said, the perfect example I'm thinking of is like Crust making wheels, but there's all kinds of stuff like that, you know, like I said, new all city colorways, stuff, just that's just the stuff that bubbles right into my head. New tires, Renee Hurst, Ultra Dynamico, those kind of brands, Terravale, stuff like that. They release a new size. Someone comes out with 26-inch tires. That would be like the totally like up the alley of this channel type thing. New kind of rack, you know, even I would say even other cool YouTube videos that have come out like exploring something new gravel events that we talk about on here. So, Malk, you're right. I was thinking about that too. The idea of just having a section on the Discord where we could all post relevant, like anyone sees like something they think is a relevant news story for this. Yeah, you just drop it in there. The intro music I got, Rick, I found is like that total like swell of it, the Daily Show. When I haven't watched the Daily Show. I haven't had cable for 6 years, but I've watched clips on all over. But like when Jon Stewart was the host of the Daily Show is the exact thing it's got like the beeping noise and then like the orchestra swell and the globe spinning. That's exactly what I want. But yeah. Dylan said a Midwest Radivist would be great. Yeah. I got you, Malk. I'm reading about your Mountain Outpost idea. I will look that up though, because that's kind of what I do want. Jay Danny asked if there will be a map segment. Pudgy, that name. Midwestivist. Bike advocacy segments. Yeah, Bike Cleveland, who's a great bike advocacy group. Yeah. Rick could do weekly updates on his trash. I want to do I just, my mind's running wild with this idea. That's why I love riding bikes in general, especially like why you need to do solo bike riding is because that's when the stuff comes. But like have that graphic for like breaking news and then do some story. I don't know, whatever it would be. I was going to try and talk to Large about this at the shop tonight, but then him and Yonda were both working and we were just making fun of each other and rambling through topics so fast. But oh, and I didn't put it together, Andrew. You said you forgot you're on your personal account. Yeah. 24-hour map channel would be low maintenance. It'd be like the NASA channel when they just have like some stagnant shot. I know there's a couple comments in here I missed. Oh, Pudgy said call it parking lot beers. Well, I think parking lot beers would be a great like segment, But yeah, I definitely think between this group we have going on to make an actual weekly thing like this, and Dylan's right, it would take a lot of work, especially to do it right, but at least to try it out during the winter, and if it does have legs, then we find out if it's worth it. So, no, Bradley, I see you said you were all for it. Nice. Yeah, that was my idea. Like I don't know, and I definitely wanted to run by it, like because the live streams are where a lot of regulars are. So Just in, funny Brad stopped smiling. Details at 11. Yeah. I probably could pull. I'll just wait. Aaron told me to make a pilot, so I was thinking maybe I'll make a members video that's the pilot, so I could get the feedback of the members before we go live with like the on the main big channel thing. So I do have God, I have two members videos I need to put out. I have one from Florida with more footage of that and some stuff I was talking about, but and then an intro one because we have so many new members. I want to talk about some of the stuff that I don't think uh, the last probably 10 or 15 members are aware of. So yeah, it's something worth trying. See if it, yeah, people are interested, then keep going. If not, no worries. Um, yeah, I was wondering about that muskrat. I was thinking about, so he's talking about the Rubber City Heritage Trail, which is going to be being built in Akron. That's actually, parts of it are actually, I think, actually already going to be happening, besides the parts that are already done. But I was wondering about stuff that's local to us here, and I was thinking about the New York Times in this example of how like the New York Times has a New York section still, even though it's a national newspaper. And so, do you like start with like I don't know the 4 or 5 if there's 4 or 5 in a week main stories, do a couple local things, or do you keep it broad and just for the whole category that we're talking about? I'm not sure yet on that, but this day in bike history. Pudgy said neo retro and why Tim keeps saying it. That could be your opinion piece, Pudgy. Is neo retro something that should still be said? I don't know. Blue screen? What do you mean by blue screen? Yeah, and like the local shop thing, I think would be the same as like promoting like kind of some of the, like we're saying, local or smaller product stuff in the cycling community. So that could, you know, yeah, I don't know. That's what I was wondering too. Like, oh, say, you know, Joy Machines got a wild bike account. Like, is that something that's worth bringing up, or is that too hyper local to not make sense for what I'm trying to do here? I don't know. That's the kind of stuff we'll have to workshop. Fudgy's opinion piece will be about a front wheel. I don't know. I think it would be one. I like the idea because I think it doesn't, like I said, I don't think it really exists to niche. Like people make full videos on one new product or on like bikepacking.com on like 4 or 5. But yeah, but then to get other people involved in it, I just think that would be really cool to hit like the topics and then have, yeah, the way to make it so we could all like do something with it. But so we all get stoned out of our minds and watch Anchorman for 3 days and modify it to bike news. Yeah. Yeah, like I said, I know I'm not reinventing the wheel here. GCN has been doing it forever, but I don't think anyone's doing it for, people who ride on 650B wheels. So anyways, that's that. I'm glad to see the comments. It gives me, I think, definitely at least try it, but maybe start it. I have a week, February 13th, I'm leaving for Charlotte for a week, doing a video project. I'm just a cameraman in this video project, so I was thinking if I make one before then, I'll just do like the pilot.
JMZ 555 super chatted $2. What about a beat reporter that wears a banana costume?
Nice. I love the idea of like doing a fake, like, because one of you guys would send in a video, and then it's like, let's go live to JMZ 555 in, What were you soliciting here? Not a nuke-proof hub, just here for beers. Oh, Rick, you were saying like green screen but blue screen? Yeah, I was thinking. Maybe I'll turn the camera around on Thursday, but I have like a pegboard with all my cycling caps uh, just on the other side over here. Now I was thinking maybe that would be a good background, but I definitely want to do the windows that pop up with whatever we're talking about, like classic news. It's just as classic news as it can be. So we now go to Malk, who may or may not be getting skin grafts from a freak propane tank bicycle accident. Malk. Yeah, I think that's what you guys have to just end anything you do with back to you, Tim. Then I'm like, thanks for that. You know, all got to be the earpiece move. So, pegboard. I can't pronounce anything right. This is good. This will be a rough show, but pegboard. Now I'm so. It's like my mom's watching, criticizing everything I say. My mom's actually very nice, but my pronunciations, yeah. Oh, did you guys? I was looking to see if there's any new posts in the Discord, and I saw where Rick just dropped a video, or earlier dropped a video and said this guy's the Terry B of cooking. Did you guys see the little promo video Terry B made with is it Bike Snob for the Five Boroughs ride? It was really cool. The guy was riding he was riding a Rivendell. What is that one? It's one of the super long wheelbase ones. I almost want to say platypus, but that's not right. Uh, it was a great like promo video for it, and I called up Erin. I'm like, "Are we gonna do this?" And she's like, "I don't have the money to go to New York in the spring." And I was like, "Yeah, I don't either." But seems like it'd be a great time, and I loved Terry B's video with the dude about it. It was done really, really well. So Rick says I need an English accent guy to do the call letters. Yeah, Rick, you're close enough to hop over and do the five boroughs, though, right? It's 40 miles. I Pudgy said the cooking food dining segment would be gas station food and trailside food trucks. Yeah, even like something like that, where someone did like a quick, like a food review of like, yeah. Who's Gus Boots Wilson? Grilled Cliff Bars. Oh no, that's a Riv. No, it wasn't that. No. Wow, that head badge is amazing. It's definitely that kind of. It's one of those kind of frames, though. It has that kind of look. Oh, look at those lugs. Those are amazing. Oh, Bradley, you said you're down to do the five boroughs. Man, Erin basically said she's out, and she said go for it if I want to. It's impossible to do anything affordable in New York. I really kind of want to do it though. Trailside food trucks sound pretty bougie. Yeah, I don't know. A lot of the stuff we do is probably in our. It's fairly, nutmeg wasn't exactly cheap. The 5 boroughs is $112 entry fee, but I mean, maybe he has it in his description. Here we go. It's funny he couldn't. I guess they. I read this blog earlier. He the 5 borough ride ended up, I guess, not using this video because he wasn't wearing a helmet in the video. Platypus. Okay. It's the Rivendell platypus. Isn't that a Rivendell? Yeah. Oh, Bradley, you're a 45 train minute ride into Penn Station. Nice. Fudgy says the only Pro Tour news will be done by him in his full size, extra small kit, and you'll say it in your best vegan cyclist voice. Nice. Sorry, did I bro you, Jay Dandy? You heard the 5 borough ride it shoulder to shoulder? From the way they described it, it sounds like some people go out and ride it hard, though, and some people chill. Is there a cutoff time? Because can't you space out if you want to? Oh, so this is like almost like a mixed, but with a giant wheelbase. I totally want to try and I totally just want to try out one of these rivs with those super long chainstays. I just wonder what they feel like. Like if they feel super sluggish, like they've got to be the most stable bike you've ever ridden, I assume. Oh yeah, so who's going to be a guest on Thursday? Who wants to chat about their bikes or bicycles? Probably remote is the only way to do it because I don't think anybody in Ohio is going to be driving or riding their bike over here on Thursday. But if someone wants to volunteer for that, you're welcome to do that as well. There's one other thing I wanted to pull up on here tonight. How to ride the highway to the cream cheese factory in Syracuse. Huh. I know there was. I didn't put it on my list and now I've forgotten. Uh, I don't know how grumpy that bartender was, or how confused that bartender was by using our teenager language to the 40-year-old rider, 50-year-old bartender. You out, Michael? Cheers, man. Appreciate you. I think we're all about out, right? It's 10:45. I think I'm running out of steam myself tonight. Yeah, I think what the five. So when Rick said the five boroughs is shoulder to shoulder, I think they. What is it, like 30,000 people ride it? It's a ton. Yeah. Oh, Bradley, you were talking about the Empire Trail. Yeah, we've talked about that a little bit. I've ridden. Me and Aaron and Large have ridden the uh, Buffalo to Rochester section and back. But I am really all about that idea. If even if I decided to do the five boroughs ride, I was even thinking of going north of New York and riding the Empire Trail down into New York, and maybe just the problem is it's May 1st, so the weather is so unpredictable. But I was thinking of camping. There's a park, like I think it was that I was looking at about 30 miles up on the Hudson north of New York, and I was thinking of it'd be cool to camp there, ride in the morning, do the ride, and then maybe get an Airbnb and go back the next day some way. Something that would also keep my car out of New York City, just so you don't have to deal with moving it around and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I want to do a lot. I want to do a lot more of the Empire Trail. I want to go back and like maybe park in Rochester and go, yeah, Rochester and go farther. Talked about doing that last year for our big tour instead of Ohio to Erie, but the logistics are so much easier to ride from home. But yeah, Malk asked what was the coolest part of the Florida ride. Um, Definitely the mountain bike trails I found. Mountain mountain bike trails. Um, I wish I had realized this earlier. There were 20 miles of them out here. So, and it was really close to Tallahassee. So in my ride, I started up where I was staying, which was just north of Florida State. So this is Florida State here. That's where I was staying. So yeah, so all through this area, the elevation isn't crazy. It's more like dodging trees. And when I say mountain biking trails, I think that Giant Revolt was on 38s and, like I said, super stiff bike, totally fine on these trails. But I read afterwards that there's 20 miles of them back in here. Oh, you could see the other spurs here that go way out. Um, but my legs were so cooked from riding back into headwind that I only basically like detoured off the path to ride this section. But this stuff would have been so fun to explore if I had one more day, or if the bike rental went till Sunday. The bike shop wasn't open on Sunday, unfortunately, and the rental was so cheap. This was $45. Um, it was 35 for one day, 45 for overnight, which was 2 days because you could have picked it up at 10 in the morning. I didn't have the chance to get it till more like 3:30 on Friday. But yeah, so I kind of wish I would have just like ridden from Tallahassee to these trails and then rode all the trails and then decided to ride south. The other thing though was I really had it in my mind to get down to the coast, and you could see how close I got here. So I wanted to see this little town of St. Mark's, and there's as you guys know, history nerd, there's remnants of a Spanish fort which had been rebuilt 3 times. Some of the masonry from the last Spanish fort was still there, then a Civil War fort later. So yeah, I kind of checked out St. Mark's, this tiny little town, and then I rode up to see. So this is Lighthouse Road into the park, and where I turned around here is where the booth was. You paid the entrance fee to get in the park. It was still 7 miles though to the actual lighthouse on the Gulf. Whoops, went a little far. So this is where I wanted to get, but the wind was just so brutal. I was flying because I was going south, but I knew when I turned around it'd be bad. And then this would have been another thing that was cool to explore. So I went and rode. This is just a little gravel cut I did here, but there were more roads. This is some kind of state hunting lands, like a wildlife management area. So but even the ones that aren't showing up, there were cross-cut trails through here that could have been a little more gnarly. So the problem with these back here is there was some huge puddles, and a lot of to try and go around was kind of hard. And it was only, at this point, it was only like 40 degrees. So not, compared to what I left, not bad, but I'm wearing Vans and wool socks. I did not want wet shoes, knowing that I still had a couple hours on the bike. So yeah, it's interesting that St. Mark's was at some point, like, fairly important area, and now they don't have a bridge anymore. So, if there was a bridge over the river there and you could have went straight down, that would have been great, but there isn't. So you have to backtrack all the way up here. But I didn't go to I didn't go to the Nazi protest. I didn't even know that was happening. I did. My job though was to film they were all right wingers. I was filming very conservative people for sure. So let's see. Muskrat, you asked if I saw any rare bird. I didn't. I don't know if you guys saw, but I posted a link to it was crazy. I watched it right when I got back from the ride. YouTuber I follow Thomas. He's a birder, so his channel is half cycling, half birding stuff. And he actually went down to. So I think he parked around where I turned around and rode his bike on these levees that I wanted to see. And he saw the flamingos, a certain breed that he's into. I'm not a birder. I know a little bit, but very, very little. And then he rode down to the lighthouse, but it was just amazing that I was sitting in Tallahassee, and I basically messaged him. I was like, you finished my ride. And then he ran out of time. His goal was to ride from Tallahassee. So he was like, well, you did the part of the ride I didn't do, so I can't wait to see your video, which is kind of cool. But I think I found his channel because he comments on traveling through stuff. I can't remember, but oh, buzzards. There were buzzards everywhere. I put some in my video, but the YouTube guy talks funny. Yeah, I don't. Is he German? Is Follow Thomas German? He might be. I can't remember if he's ever said, but he definitely has an accent. In my mind, I always assumed it was a German accent, but I don't know. Did I drive my Chevy to the levee? Yeah, Pinky. Yeah, Jay Dandy, you got it. It was Pinky. But I was about to say something with that about Follow Thomas that I totally forgot. Damn it. Oh, yeah. Yeah, the buzzards. Yeah, it was weird. There was a lot of buzzards, just tons of buzzards is where I was in Florida. Like in the video, there's one big group, but when I was riding, I would always be seeing a couple in the sky. I don't, maybe just because there's so much parkland and dead animals. I don't know. Not Father Thomas, Follow Thomas. He's not a Nazi that I know of. Wait. He likes schnitzel. One thing that, so I guess since Tallahassee does get so cold, because it was unusually cold, but to give an idea of where we are, so it's not quite like Panhandle. We're not talking like Pensacola or Panama City, but yeah, you are pretty far north. They said, I think it's only 15 miles to the Georgia border, so. Oh, that was delicious. Man, I hope he's not a lurker on these live streams. You guys would really be embarrassing me. But oh yeah, what was the I was reading some. Oh, this is what it is. So like this is the county here where it says beach. And I think this beach here is where a lot of Tallahassians, I believe they say, go, but this where it went Wakala. I was I just get caught up in this kind of stuff, as you guys could probably imagine. But the etymology of this word led me down a, to me, fascinating rabbit hole of the pronunciation comes from a Native American tribe that actually doesn't exist at all anymore because so I started down this rabbit hole and then like reading about the Seminoles, and so they're thinking that Wakala is a word that the Seminoles were saying relating to this much earlier group of people that basically inhabited Florida all the way from this area over to St. Augustine and down into about central Florida. And they were some of the first to have contact with the Spanish, like De Soto and stuff like that. Um, One of De Soto's guides was of this earlier tribe. And it's one of the things we kind of forget, about like, because American history is so focused on like who the colonists were having contact with and not, you know, when Europeans were first actually arriving into the New World. And so, like, this tribe has actually gone completely extinct from the slave trade and disease from Europeans. They don't exist at all anymore. So, like, when it was just like I said, the rabbit hole of this word Wakala, they're like, we don't know how it would have been pronounced or spelled because zero of those people exist anymore. And it's just really mind blowing and something they have to remind yourself. Like in Ohio, where we are in Ohio, like some of the Native Americans, and I know me and Patrick were talking about this when we did the live stream, uh, associated with the Delaware. Obviously, the Delaware aren't from Ohio, they're from Delaware, like that region. But at the time of the settlement in Ohio, they had already been pushed over into this part of the country. But yeah, I can't pull out all the terms off the top of my head because I've had a couple beers, but that kind of stuff just absolutely fascinates me and blows my mind. So, all right, Malk, see you later. Oh, you're heading to Florida tomorrow? Nice. I think that place is named after a Band of Horses song. All right, now that I'm getting into my American Indian history, it's probably time to. It's 11 o'clock, end the chat for tonight. So, yeah, Jay Dandy. New world, same as the old world, depending on whose eyes you are looking at it through. Yeah. Yeah, the movement of people throughout history is always fascinating. Turkey and Greece are two of the most amazing ones to look at in the last 300 years. How much shifting has actually gone on. A port, yeah. Yeah, I mean, the people that Columbus met in Hispaniola, which were Haiti and Dominican Republic, are uh, that tribe that that you've seen the drawings, the sketches of Columbus talking to those tribes. Zero of those people live anymore either. Like the native inhabitants of Hispaniola have been completely erased from history. Not a single one lives. So, but yeah, that's crazy. Anyways, yeah, let's wrap it up. Um, Tallahassee is Native American for didn't finish right. Yeah, so get at me on the Discord. Let's have a guest on Thursday. It'd be more fun. Next Tuesday, I think we'll get into the Peugeot. As far as the channel for videos, I don't have anything lined up. I'll make sure I have something out for Monday. Me and Aaron are talking about filming another video in our series that we started, and we haven't completed that yet or gone farther, but that's still on the table. And then yeah, it's about it for now. Yeah, see you guys on Thursday.
I just want to take a quick moment during this break to thank our channel members. Their financial support really does make it possible to do this many live streams and produce this many videos. So thanks a lot. If you're interested in joining, we could drop a link on the screen in the chat right now that you could check out and follow that link and join the channel and get some special perks too. Anyways, thanks to everybody else too for tuning in. I really enjoyed doing this. Check out the merch store and also drop a like on this video. Thanks, every little bit helps. We will be back in a couple minutes.
I want a tuna boat. Give me tuna boat. I want a tuna boat. Give me tuna boat.
Okay, bye.
All right.
Cause
Yeah.
this one I'm
Fitzwater photo.
In the awful way, holiday, holiday today, and all I want to say, holiday, holiday today. You catch the first train.